Hello everyone and welcome back to The Collapse. So, in the last episode we managed to turn around and win another election, and we also managed to deal with the little separatist region down here in the south. So we've unified the entire country. We should have better industrial production and everything should be pretty good as far as actually producing goods in the country now, since that region was important for that. I think as far as the rest of the country goes, yeah, there's no separatism level that's really high, actually. Zero in the capital, of course, but nothing else goes over 18%. So, with the North being the highest one. So now we only have 4 years left in the game. The rest of this will just be spent dealing with certain situations that'll pop up. And of course, I'm just trying to maintain relations and stuff like that. I might see if I can go ahead and pop up the United States relations to 100. And yeah, basically just giving the citizens what they want and what they need. So I'm pretty sure, though, the ending isn't going to be great because of, other outliers that's been going on. I can't really do anything about that at this point. But yeah, I'll just try and maintain the peace in the meantime. Let's see, as far as the party goes, let me just go ahead and throw some money in the bank because they need support. I'm probably not going to focus too much on the ministries because I just really don't feel the need to at this point. I'm just going to try and maintain the operability and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much it for everything. I might try and get some of these later things if I can, but since the operability is pretty low for the majority of them, I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to, actually get anything in the end. So I might see if I can get this up. If I can get the operability up on the prime minister's office, I can see about going after the president, if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, I think oh, okay, so yeah, I can go after him now. Let's see. They say they haven't found his location, but I know that there's an event, because I had it happen once before where there was an event that popped up and you can try and get him. And if you have a couple options, if you have internal affairs, you can turn around and try and have him assassinated, or you can try and negotiate with other countries in order to get him over, get him over into the country and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think the majority of this is just going to be spent trying to just keep the budget balanced and trying to make sure that nothing loses its budget. But how successful I'm going to be at that, only time will tell. So we've already dealt with the southern region, don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and just move forward. If anything pops up, I'll let you know. So this is probably going to be a short video because I don't imagine there's going to be much that's going to happen. I think due to the research, I've completed all the research. I think due to the research, there might be a couple things that pop up. Like, for instance, the whole Cosmodrome thing, because I believe it said that it will take about 2 years for that to happen. And some of these other things might pop up, but yeah, for the most part, I don't think anything is really going to pop up for real. So that's going to be pretty much the end of it. So, ooh, the impact of the Lurid Mafia is down. It was actually pretty high at one time. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and skip forward, and if anything happens, I'll let you know. Okay, so I haven't even advanced the date at all yet. I was just looking at some diplomacy issues because I was pulling, I pulled out of one of the Russian alliances or whatever. But this just happened. The economic downturn in the Republic and falling incomes of the poorest part of the population led to a social collapse. As a result, in the east of the country, where pro-Russian sentiments are very strong, strikes began. Mining workers refused to go to work and put forward their economic demands. Among them, an increase in the wages of miners and its indexation in accordance with rising inflation, improved working conditions, and the solution of problems with the closure of mines and an ever-increasing unemployment rate. This was followed by an ultimatum to the government, which consisted of giving the East wide political autonomy within the Republic, as well as restoring traditional relations with Russia. However, no response has yet been received from the country's leadership, and mine directors suffer huge losses due to protests. Let me see. Man, I actually don't have a problem with this. I wonder if this happens regardless. So, And yeah, and I'm sure Russia had something to do with this. But I don't have issues with that at all, so... so do I want to join the requirements of the miners and organize demonstrations? No, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to send ministry representatives to compromise. The government of the Republic sent delegates to negotiate with the protest leaders and mine directors. Following the meeting, one of the ministers agreed to accept the social and economic demands of citizens, but they categorically rejected the political, arguing that a power crisis could lead to the arrival of populist-minded forces that will bring the country into complete anarchy. Nevertheless, the government agreed to index miners' salaries by 40% and promised to control the price increase in the region. Where the money will come from isn't completely clear. The workers return to their places. Okay, so we dealt with that situation. And yeah, everything is fine in that sense. I'm going to pass some laws, I think. Let's see. It's so funny just seeing all that absent. But I'm actually going to pass a law for the electoral system. I think I'm just going to go to a majority system. Let's see how that works. Candidates who receive the majority of the votes in their constituency are declared the winners. Small parties usually do not have access to parliament, and all power is concentrated around a few of the most powerful parties, but political instability is minimized. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with that because I'm dominant in every single region, and there's just no need for me to turn around, and I actually lose more by having the Carbo law. So because if I would have just had the majority system, I would have completely wiped out every single party. Whereas because I have the Carbo law, you only get 66%. You always get 66% if you get 25% of the vote. But at the same time, you always get 66%. So I could have completely wiped out the majority of the parties and probably reduced I probably ended up with more seats. I probably ended up like 70 or 80 seats. But I'm going to go to the majority system. And I'm going to do some other things as well. So I am elected by the people. Youth control, yeah, I'll leave that alone. Language question, several official languages. Gambling, I kind of want to go to immensely taxed, but it's one of those things. Meh. Let's see. Oh, wait. Get that there. I'll do public transport to be fully state, I believe. Nah, it's not really affecting anything. I guess self-sufficient state is fine. Special services, I could give them unlimited powers, but since they're not in my control right now, I don't think I will. I'll leave the taxes alone because I feel like that's fairly okay right now. The tax situation is not a big deal. Percentage barriers, fine. I'll leave that alone. Religious law, sect persecution. I kind of want to have a propaganda of atheism, but it doesn't seem like it's really affecting the population, so they don't seem like they mind. Religion is opium for the people. There can be no compromise. 70 years of Soviet power made themselves feel like the adherents of religion are... Okay, whatever. The adherents of religion are reactionaries fighting against progress and the entire people of the Republic. Let us destroy religious prejudice. The People's National is actually okay with this. So yeah, we'll go to propaganda of atheism. We have free healthcare, lessons in studying patriotism. Patriotic education among students should begin from the earliest years. Therefore, the introduction of patriotic lessons will contribute to the formation of only the most correct and patriotic perceptions of the world around us in the mind of future citizens of our country. Of course, the communists agree with that. Oh, and all the classes agree with that. So, sure. We'll do that. Patriotic special services. The people of the Republic are united by a single faith in the bright future of the nation. Therefore, the state, in order to ensure the happiness and prosperity of the Republic, must put an end to the internal and external enemies of our country. I'm kind of leery about this just because, again, I don't have control over the special services. So, sure. I mean, the conservatives don't have that much power, so. Militia rights. this is one of those weird ones where, like, if to a certain degree, I feel like this should be what the socialists would probably be at because, again, how things have kind of gone in real life. But yeah, it is high time for us to abandon the reactionary state machines of violence, transferring the powers to supervise order on the streets to licensed and registered in the state register of lightly armed people's guards, passing to universal participation of the people in the militias. Oh yeah, that is what the socialists want. Okay, cool. So yeah, because I feel like once you start getting into extended militia rights, which is there can be no compromises to protect our citizens from the constant threat of criminals and terrorists, to ensure the safety of public order, we must take full control of the privacy of citizens. So, of course, the People's National and the Blue Guard love that. So, the lower class ironically likes it, and so does the upper class. Huh. Do they like the People's Guard? They don't. The middle class likes it, which is odd, but huh. All right. Maybe I'll just do European level. See who all agrees with that. Liberals, Social Democrats. None of the classes like it, but the middle class is back to being favored. Marijuana law, legal, criminalized. I'll leave it at that. Smoking, that's fine. Supervision of prisoners. What about labor camps? Why should a potential labor force sit around eating up people's money? If a person is guilty, then only with sweat and blood can he atone for his greedy act. The return of the forced labor camps is our choice. And although some will perceive this as restoration of Stalinism, who needs the opinion of these weak-willed bums? Jesus. I also find that ironic that the communists don't like it, but all the different classes like it. Fine, sure, we can do that. Labor law based on Soviet legacy. Only a return to the Soviet system can create truly decent living conditions for the entire working population of the Republic. Every citizen of our country should have a job in their specialty, good wages, and a guarantee of confidence in the future from the people and for the people. Okay. Middle class doesn't like it, upper class doesn't like it, but the lower class likes it, and the communists like it. Again, they're not in power, but I just want to kind of get a gauge of where people's opinion are. I think the socialists prefer the state and trade unions. Yeah, so I think I'll leave that alone. Pollution control, we have a landscaping program. I don't know if I actually mentioned this in the last video, but yeah, I went ahead and passed that. Let me see. Irrational and destructive human activity leads to destructive consequences for nature. Deforestation, environmental pollution, the spread of landfills. There can be no compromises and half measures, even though now we will not be able to return to a primitive society where a man did not destroy nature with his selfish actions. We must start implementing a grandiose greening program, otherwise all of humanity will suffocate in its own waste. So yeah, who's in favor of that? Socialists are, and the middle class is, so it's nice. We have early retirement, and we have state free. Okay. Owned by regions. Transferring part of regional roads to municipal ownership will save us from unnecessary bureaucratization of our system and will allow the local administrations to determine priorities in the construction and maintenance of infrastructure. The socialists are fine with that. I think to a certain degree that's kind of ironic because, like, in the United States, it's kind of a mixed bag where it's like the federal government pays for the highways, but local roads kind of are paid by the states. Or I think it might be a little bit of where the federal government will give states money in order to turn around and build on roads. Most of the time they don't, but still, that's kind of an odd system. But meh. Okay, what is unofficial system 996? The boss is God, the king, and the father for the worker. Only he has the right to decide whether his employees can rest, how much they will receive, and what guarantees they have after all. After all, thanks to such an alignment of forces, respectable entrepreneurs, mother of God, and businessmen managed to carry out industrialization in the 19th century, which significantly raised the standard of living of the population, right? Yeah, I could have sworn it also wasn't really good at the time. I mean, you had like 12-year-olds working in plants and stuff, so And again, not much different now in the United States where, 18 working in a plant and getting paid absolutely shit wages depending on where you're at. Okay. So I think everything else is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put this bill forward. And yeah, we got the support, of course, because I am the ruling party. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, look at that, 22% among the upper class. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep going forward, and I will see you at the next event. Okay, so I don't think this is actually like an event where I have a decision, but I think this is an event where one of the organizations are actually formed. It's 2000, so it's almost the end of the game, but hey, whatever. On a beautiful day, on a beautiful spring day, March 8th, a women's holiday, Capitol hosted the Congress of the so-called Republican Feminist Union, an organization that firmly set itself the goal of destroying the rotten patriarchal regime and with the determined fist of all women of the Republic to break the shackles of slavery. Several hundred women from different regions of the country gathered at the Congress. The leaders of the organization sealed the declaration on the establishment of the RFU with the seal made of blood. It isn't specified where it is taken. Okay, so there's that. And then if you come over to the factions, they should be available now. Where are you at? Yeah, so yeah, they're available now. So that's a thing. I'll probably work on this a little bit in my spare time. Why are they with the liberals? They don't even exist. But yeah, I'm gonna work on this in the meantime or whatever. Donate some money towards them, try and build them up, and see what things I can get out of them. So yeah, just some things that'll be going on in my spare time. More skipping. All right, so now we have another event. Well, this again isn't an event with a choice, but just something I thought was interesting. So this popped up. Vladimir Putin is in power. I'm sure that's going to be great things for us. After Yeltsin left the post of president of the Russian Federation, power passed to his successor, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, who immediately scheduled a new presidential election in March of this year. According to the result of the vote, Putin received 51% ahead of his main competitor, Gennady Zyuganov, but by more than 20%. Now the ambitious liberal reformer is ready to continue Yeltsin's course towards completing market reforms in Russia. But is Russia itself ready for this? So yeah, I'm sure things are going to come up even more with Russia now. So now that I think about it, they already had that stuff with the miners over there in the east. Oh god, this is probably going to be problematic. Anywho, more skipping. Also another little slight event. I'm also starting to run into situations like this. The discontent of the upper class reached its climax. The inhabitants of the industrial region, impoverished during the years of reforms, middle class inhabitants and abandoned Middle class inhabitants abandoned senseless and fruitless rallies and strikes, switching to direct actions. The rebels began to raid the administration buildings and headquarters of the SRP, which is the ruling party in the region. Several people were killed, over 36 were wounded. The militia that arrived in time managed to disperse the rioters, arresting the most active, but the government should take at least some measures to avoid repeating today's events in the future. Party economists of the SRP estimate losses at 15% of the party budget and 20% of the party's administrative resources. So that's always lovely. So yeah, as you can see, that took quite a hit to my wealth up there. I think just in case though, I'll go ahead and pass some militia stuff. Well, I'll leave the militia stuff alone, but I'm gonna go ahead and give the what is it? Special services unlimited power. So yeah, they can do whatever they want now. If they want to be like that. But anywho, I'll go ahead and do some more skipping. So yeah. Oh, and influential members. Yes, fuck off. Alright, so now we're at our next event. In this case, it is to deal with our former president, or at least one of them. Madam Chairman, I especially am outraged by your deed. Before I considered you my associate, a person who cares about the fate of the motherland. But now I realize that you only want power and only power. Yes, this is Evgeny Zulnik. You are acting shamelessly by trying to put behind bars a man who fought for the freedom and independence of the Republic. Even when a gang of criminals from the Supreme Soviet removed me from power, I did not cling to the post of president to the last. Do you understand? You voted for my candidacy in the distant 1990s, and now you want to put me and my infinitely loyal comrade Sorbetsky in The Hague. If the question is about money, name the amount. I'm ready to pay you. Just leave Sherbetsky and me alone. Anyway, here on the distant islands of Oceania, you will never find us, okay? You just told me where you were, but all right. So we can either accept his offer, we can call the international community for justice, or we can request the return of part of the money to the budget for an amnesty. So yeah, those are the options. And now, if we had internal affairs, I think you can choose to either try and arrest him or you can choose to try and assassinate him. But I don't know what the actual what actually is required for those to work, because when I tried it before, it didn't work. So I'm going to call the international community for justice, because that's what I did before. I tried to have him arrested and brought to trial here in the country. So this time I'm going to call for the international community. Damn it, Madam Chairman. All human virtues are alien to you. I will not be surprised if I learn that in 5 years the Republic will not exist at all. You might be right about that. So I'm not sure when the next event for that will pop up, but yeah, I'll go ahead and skip ahead. Also, I just wanted to make one quick note about things. Now, in the last video, of course, the ministries were just a complete shit show. The operability was low in a lot of them. The corruption was high in a lot of them. And the corruption is still high in this one. But that's really because I can't really do anything about it as far as the options that I have in order to deal with things go. I made a mistake and did a raid earlier thinking that would help. That did not. It just shot my corruption up, and then it shot my operability down, and then it shot my budget down a little bit. So I really don't know what the benefit of that was, but all right. But yeah, anywho, I just wanted to make note that now, once again, the money is fine in the ministries. I'm getting a lot of money. As you can see, the money is fine in this. The operability is low in this, but that's because the operability was low anyway. I'm working on that. It was actually 70 something, so now it's 59, and that's actually a lot better than what it was. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that back up, and it will slowly increase over time. The Ministry of Defense, the operability is 238.7. So, and the corruption is at a 35.1. We generate a lot of money. These are working again. So again, I don't know what's going on in those cases. This department going up again. All the departments are working like it should. So I don't know whether these ministries are tied to the actual economy, because my economy is also doing very well. But yeah, I'm not sure. So, but it's working just fine now. Everything is going fine. I have plenty of money in each department and everything. So yeah, but I just wanted to make a note of that. So anywho, more skipping. Once again, this isn't an event, but we're back in familiar territory. In the U.S. elections, Republican candidate George W. Bush won by a narrow margin, overtaking his main rival, Al Gore. When the votes were counted, it turned out that in the states of Florida, New Mexico, and some others, the difference between the number of votes cast for candidates is extremely small, and the outcome of the vote in Florida, which has 25 electoral votes, actually decided the fate of the election. The first count of votes in Florida gave Bush an advantage of slightly more than 1,000 votes, and this with almost 6 million votes. Obviously, with such a huge number, all sorts of accidents are possible, and therefore the Gore team, considered to be the loser, decided not to surrender but to fight in Florida. Numerous recounts began in Florida, and the accompanying court decisions, they lasted until 10 p.m. on December the 12th, when the U.S. Supreme Court, by 5 votes to 4, ordered further recounts to be discontinued and the last count to be final. So yeah, that was a very infamous situation here in the United States where, of course, the situation with that election, that was just a shit show and a half. It's also funny because that's when a lot of contests and just basically anything to do with counting anything in Florida kind of turned around and changed around that time. You'll see a lot of disclaimers here in the United States if there's ever a competition or anything where like it's fine throughout the rest of the United States, but in Florida it's a little different. So yeah, we're gonna have to deal with Bush, and I wonder what modifiers, good God, calm down. I wonder what modifiers that gives us, because I know, of course, him being a Republican, that's gonna change things. George W. Bush with laissez-faire increases the favorableness of investments in the region, the influence of the United States on U.S., but reduces the wealth of the lower and middle class. So that's going to be a thing. Vladimir Putin with imitation democracy or police state. Increases the influence of Russian Federation on the republic, separatism in the east. The standard of living in the PDR, if it is independent, reduces crime. Oh, okay. So that's kind of helps us as far as reducing crime. But when it comes to everything else, then yeah. Also, we have Western influence, falling relations with Russia. We have -5 in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, growing corruption and investment climate in pro-Western regions. Let me see. Our president is flexible, growing dependence on the RAF and the U.S. in exchange for growing relations. Okay. And I think that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, we dealt with conscription. We have a contract army, -10 money from the Ministry of Defense, but plus the efficiency of the ministry. So that helps a lot. We have the army uniform of NATO standard, growth in U.S. relations dependency, plus money to the ministry and the party budget. We have party TV channel. We still have a lack of electricity, even though we have nuclear power, but you know, whatever. So I don't know how to deal with this situation. I'm guessing if I had maybe industry or something like that, maybe I could get rid of that. I'm not sure. Cosmodrome per Aspera at Astra. Days to completion 429. So, oh, okay. Nice. I didn't know that there was actually a counter for that. Education, serving the motherland. Growth of relations with generals. Let's see. Armament, army, own production. Fall of dependence on the CIS in the West. Growth of relations with the NOTK and the generals. Budget spending. Let's see. Energy sector. State ownership percentage 100%. Private ownership percentage 0. Growth and decline in the aggressiveness. Electricity production. Corruption. Huh. Okay. So I wonder if I go to like a mixed energy dependence, will that kind of help things? I might explore that. Minerals. State ownership percentage 75. Private ownership 25%. Okay. Nice. Post-Soviet, the growth of corruption in the ministry and the fall in crime. All right. So yeah, those are my modifiers of right now. History of elections, we've won. Let me see, we won 29% before, 57% before, and 76% before. Ridiculous numbers. Anywho, more skipping. Okay, so we have another event. I think this one deals with the cinema and feminism. As you know, cinema loves to adapt to popular social trends. Today, this manifests itself in multiple preferences for women, and not only in standard acting roles, but also sometimes in leadership positions. And it would seem nothing portended high-profile events, but this was not entirely true. After the release of the next full-length picture in the space of our republic, one actress publicly declared harassment from the director of this work, a person with experience in the European film industry. The story quickly spread across the media, partially or fully controlled by the RFU. And then it started. Actions at cinemas aimed at stopping the rental of films, public statements by other actors aimed at all the same denigrating the director, mass debate of the parties in the same media. The ideologists of feminism also found a political subtext in the picture, supposedly aimed at humiliating the dignity of women. The climax of history has not yet arrived. Oh, so this is the Me Too movement. Support RFU, stand up for the producer, conduct your own personal investigation. We do not care about such scandals. Okay. We will conduct our own personal investigation. The SRP, without waiting for the climax of the conflict, decided to conduct its own investigation. Having mobilized their activists, some lawyers, public organizations, and even ordinary internet inhabitants, the instructor of the capital city committee began an investigation of what was happening. And here's what was found. The actress met the director back in the Soviet Union. It all started from the time of the Soviet Union when they first met each other. Then the woman still had no idea what kind of person she had contacted. Indeed, most immediately after the collapse of the USSR, when the total totalitarian intensity was nullified and the freedom lost its borders, he began to pester her for a long time and persistently. And if at first harassment was peaceful, from a bouquet to sweets, then over time they became more and more aggressive. If not for her relatives abroad, she would have been very bad. Oh, okay. Having quickly left the country and settled in a new place, the actress only temporarily secured herself. Soon, the director left the Republic after the actress. Not accepting the loss, he began to act more harshly and openly. Basically, he used his position to put the actress in a variety of poses and pawed her for piquant places. Okay. Due to the very poor financial situation, the actress had to endure all of this bullying, but the director's appetite grew more and more. After the release of the film, the actress fled to another country as quickly as possible, but even this did not help. The director rushed after her, and only the iron will of the actress and the help from her relatives and friends helped her to finally break away from the maniac and live a quiet life. Many years later, the actress decided to return to her homeland, hoping that she will not see the director there again. But he through phone calls, according to the victim, began to blackmail her with the fact that all roads in the country will be closed to her. She was forced to agree to star in this film again. Not surprisingly, she was again subjected to moral and physical humiliation. She no longer has anyone to rely on because both relatives and friends are abroad. It would seem that everything is lost. The morale of the actress fell more and more every day, and the director increased his pressure. However, it was at that moment that she went to the Republican Feminist Union. Seeing how RFU members valiantly protected not only their rights, but also the rights of other women, she perked up and finally decided to open her story to the whole world. And she did not fail because the public supported her. The media actively spread this story across the country. Activists staged pogroms of cinemas that agreed to show the scandalous film, and the director himself, unable to withstand public pressure, paid the actress moral compensation and soon left the country. That is the longest event that I think I've ever had on here, but all right. All right, so we've dealt with Republican Harvey Weinstein in the Republic. So there you go. Anywho, more skipping. Here is our dear friend. He is back, and this time I have to help him out, I believe, one last time. So, my friend, our business is over. I've been on the run for several months. These new Republicans will pull me out of the afterlife if I don't repay them in 100 administrative points or dollars. I'm not sure. I have no one else to go to for help. Please give me money. I will return everything to them, and I will be able to move to America, where my loyal people are waiting for me, who will hide me from these bouncers. Sure, I'll pay off your debt, Sergey. 300 party resources. Okay, all right. Friend, you are the best person in the world. I owe you my life. Forgive me for everything. Do not remember me dashingly. Okay. Well, I mean, we had the money, so it was fine. Anywho, more skipping. Okay, something I wasn't expecting here. In the People's Democratic Autonomy, an early regional election is scheduled. Among the most significant political forces of the PDA are the Moderate Party and the Loyalist Party. Of course, the program of each of them needs no introduction. The Separatist Party, as you know, was immediately banned by the PDA authorities and now operates underground. However, it isn't yet clear who will take power in the region. Oh shit, I still gotta worry about them? Of course we're gonna support the Loyalists. Following the election results in the PDA, the Loyalist Party became the absolute leader in the vote. Okay, we really need to deal with it. I mean, it's at 101, so I guess I don't have to worry about them, but still, like, come on, what are y'all doing down there? All right. We've lost a little support with the lower class. I might need to do something about that. What election promise did I have? I can't quite remember. Modifiers, pre-election promises, improving the welfare of the lower class, and I've already done that. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so more skipping. Interesting. So we have the rise of separatism once again. Discontent with the center's policies is growing in the industrial region. The general growth of separatism has engulfed the region. There are more and more demands for the independence or sovereignty of local laws over the Republican ones. The industrial region politicians openly demand a referendum on secession from the country and criticize the capital's authorities in every possible way. Recently, the number of anti-Republican rallies has also become more frequent. Organizations have appeared in the region that print leaflets calling for an armed uprising and actions of disobedience. How long the government will control the region as it does now is unclear. Great, so now they're Texas. We need the Ministry of Internal Affairs. That would have been nice to have this time around. Let's see. Suppress separatism with the help of the city hall. Send subsidies to the region. That might help. That could also backfire, though. Let's see. I'll send subsidies to the region. Take into account the growth of separatist sentiments, the government of the Republic sent additional subsidies to the industrial region. However, separatist sentiments only increased when an article appeared in a popular newspaper that argued that if the industrial region is separated from the Republic, the salaries of citizens would triple. Don't do a Brexit. You ain't gonna like the result. So they're at 59%. Jesus Christ. I guess I'm gonna have to clamp down on that. 71. Jesus Christ. Why is everybody? Oh Lord. Okay. So we're gonna have to do some stuff here. All the regions except for the capital are wanting to rebel. Let's see. How do I deal with that exactly, though? Let's see. I think we have a pretty good amount in the defense budget. Oh yeah, we have a lot in the defense budget. So let's go ahead. Oh great. What? Yeah, bribe. Go away. Okay. So and also, let's go ahead and put a little bit more in there so you will completely fuck off. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start trying to put some order in, what is it? Order and security down. So yeah, let's do that. I think it's 500 per. And let me do it over here as well. Order and security. Order and security. That's 1,000. How much do we have in the defense budget? 1,600. Okay. Let's do some more. Order and security. That's another 1,000. And over here it's 62.1. Order and security. Yeah, I don't have enough. I'll do business and development. Yeah. Okay, so, and I think I'll go ahead and change this because I've had it set to stealing from the budget for quite some time. So let's change that to social projects, or, well, no, let's change it to infrastructure. Okay, yeah, I'll change all these to infrastructure. And I'll reduce the autonomy of the country, or the state government, or whatever it's called. Infrastructure. Don't have to worry about the capital. I can keep stealing money from you. Yep. And infrastructure. I think this is infrastructure too. Okay. So yeah, I have order security in those areas. Maybe that'll help. And what else I said I was gonna do? Oh yeah, let's come down here to state structure. Let's do national autonomies. I'm pretty sure it's fucking Russia that's doing this, but all right. I will put forward that and the government intervention. That's fine. That's fine. Power of authorities. I don't think that really matters. There was another one. Court control, absence of a jury. I'll just say appointed by the state. Oh, the middle class doesn't like that. Okay, we'll just do that then. Fine. All right, and I will keep going forward. Hopefully that will kind of calm down some of the separatist sentiment. And when I get the defense budget back up, yeah, when I get the defense budget back up, then I'll turn around and put down more security just in case. So, more skipping. And literally 2 seconds later, there was a slight problem that happened in the country. Since the second half of the 90s, there has been an increase in sale of home personal computers, and relatively free internet access has appeared. Many of the companies have moved their activities to the rapidly gaining popularity of the World Wide Web. In anticipation of a post-industrial society, investors tried to invest in a popular industry, and the companies themselves willingly accepted these investments. Although there were no specialists and a clear understanding of the working in the IT field, so the investments were mainly spent on advertising and marketing. which increased brand awareness and then reinvested in advertising and so on in an endless loop. Thus, the shares of companies that offered to use the internet to generate income skyrocketed in price, but the reality turned out to be deceiving. Unjustified expectations led to a wave of bankruptcies, a drop in server owner indexes, and a collapse in the prices. The bubble burst. The Ministry of Communications estimate the losses of the Republic at 160. Okay. Interesting. Send donations to internet companies. The market will decide for us. Pretty sure that would be a shit show. And submit a proposal to Parliament to reduce income tax. Interesting. I guess I could do that. I mean, our economy is doing really well right now. We're not involved in any military conflict or anything. I don't want to pull a Bush, literally while Bush is in office. So I guess we could, because I don't feel like sending money to the internet companies will work. But yeah. Let's go ahead. Wait. Former German astronaut founded the first taxi network in East Germany. East Germany? They shouldn't exist. Anyway, submit a proposal to Parliament to reduce income taxes. Yes. Oh shit. Well, thank you for just skipping forward like that. Okay, that passed. In the connection with the start of massive bankruptcies of internet companies, the SRP held a vote in the Supreme Council on tax reform, which, according to the authors of the law, should help companies stay afloat. The Supreme Court fully rejected this initiative by a majority. What do you mean? I just passed it. I literally just... Okay. All right, game. Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, let me put this back to progressive taxes, because I don't want a flat tax. Jesus. Or maybe it was because it was so high, but whatever. Alright. I think I'll just go ahead and do more skipping. Alright. Alright, so we had some more rebellious stuff going on, and in this particular time, I didn't go ahead and give money to subsidize the region or anything like that. I went ahead and worked with the city hall in order to try and get things under control, and it worked. The mayor office of the southern region began an all-out struggle against the separatist sentiments. Several newspapers were closed, which in one way or another promoted the idea of a southern union, and the most radical opposition leaders were arrested. The region is again under the full control of the government. So there we go. I'm guessing the sentiment will drop at some point in time. I mean, it's still increasing, so I really don't know what I'm supposed to be doing about that. So, is there anything I can do about that? But I'll work on this in my spare time and see if I can get any of this under control. Anywho, more skipping. All right, I don't think this is an actual event per se in the game, but of course we have another infamous event here. On September 11, 2001, in the United States, suicide bombers of the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda, a banned organization in the territory of the Republic, hijacked 4 passenger planes, pointing 2 of them at the symbol of the business in New York, the World Trade Center towers, and the other 2 at the Pentagon and presumably the White House or the Capitol. All planes except the last one reached their targets. The 4th hijacked plane crashed in the field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So we have that. We will express our condolences. So, yeah. Wait, border control is closed? Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that. But, yeah. We must be merciless to the growth of world terrorism and Islamism. Jesus, calm down. Today's terrorist attacks in the United States have clearly shown us that the entire world community should be more attentive to this problem. Now we can only say one thing. Today we are all Americans. We stand in solidarity with the people of the United States and share their grief, said the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, I mean, you could have had radical Islamism there. You didn't have to turn around and have Islamism. All right, more skipping. All right, and now we have the results of our rover mission to Mars. Today, the rover Respublica 1 has landed on the red planet, successfully transmitting a signal to Earth. It took several pictures from the surface of Mars and turned off. As it turned out, one of the scientists, instead of a top thermoelectric generator, which can work and self-ignite for a long time, equip the rover with an ordinary lithium battery. The Great Republic of Science has reached its climax. Great. Alright, the construction of the first Republican cosmodrome was recently completed. Now the Republic is included in the list of 10 countries that own space stations. However, after the grand opening, the leader of the Republic did not say anything about the future fate of the cosmodrome. It is yet unclear, it is yet clear when it will begin its work, what programs will be developed, and most importantly, with what funds and by whose hands all this will be created, because after the collapse of the Soviet Union, all key technical personnel have dispersed throughout the country. Okay. And I'm guessing that's if we had good relations with the West of Russia. We've already done the rover program, so I guess we could develop space tourism and see how that goes. Maybe the second time it would be a better rover, though. Not sure. Space tourism is an efficient and profitable direction for us. I believe that today we must neglect the scientific potential of our cosmodrome and use it in the economic mainstream, said the leader of the Republic. Who knows, maybe one day a fabulously rich American wants to go to the stars. Okay, I mean, there's that. Okay. Let's see. How is the... Oh yeah, separatism level is still going up. I have no idea how to deal with the separatism level stuff. Because, I mean, I've done things. I've put order and security in the regions. I've let the military parade around and stuff. I honestly don't know why the separatism level is just getting way out of hand. Again, I blame Russia probably. But yeah, I don't really know what to do about that. I don't see anything that could really affect that. But yeah, I mean, because I control all the regions, I'm very popular in all the regions, so I don't know what's going on. The only region that's actually not turning around and having any issues so far, I think, has been the Eastern region. The Eastern region hasn't given me that much trouble, but I'll look more into this in the off time or whatever to see if I can deal with that. Anywho, more skipping. All right, another small little event, and the irony is palpable here. Today, the son of the leader of the SRP received the State Prize of Republic for grandiose discoveries in the field of science. He was able to thoroughly calculate and reasonably prove that the first president of the Republic, Zulnik, is the Antichrist with a chance of 1 in, yeah. In this regard, he became the youngest candidate of science in the country's history. For his discovery, the son of the leader of the SRP also received a large government grant to continue his research. Okay. Sure, whatever. But yeah, I thought that was just kind of funny. Anywho. Also, more stuff with my family. Gaining popularity every year, the information technology sector has reached the Republic. According to media reports, the son of the leader of the SRP, a well-known Republican mathematician, managed to come to an agreement with investors from the European Union about large investments in the Republican IT sector. However, principled Europeans do not want to give bribes to local kings and refuse to invest even the smallest possible amount in the economy. Okay. Let's see. Contact the Ministry of Economy on this issue. Solve the issue locally in the West. Or I can ignore it. I'll contact the Ministry of Economy on this issue. The Ministry of Economy has approved the opening of a free economic zone in the capital for foreign IT investors. Negotiations should continue next week. Okay, nice. All right, so there we go. We have a little bit of money pouring into the country now. Anywho, more skipping. All right, so while this isn't an event, I just thought this was kind of hilarious. So the Conservative Party have decided to put a bill forward, because, of course, if you put a bill forward, I would absolutely agree with it. So let's just take a look at it. So they want to turn around and go to a mixed system as far as pensions go. They want to go back to a pollution and deforestation tax because I have the whole shebang over here. They want to go to alcohol being prohibited at night. So prohibition, that's great in the 21st century. Let's see. They want to go to invasion of privacy for the special services. They want to go to lessons in studying patriotism. They want to go to a mixed system for healthcare instead. and they want to go. I went ahead and went to full government intervention because I felt like maybe the reason why the separatist stuff is going on is because the upper class is really pissed at me. So they have a lot of aggressiveness right now. So I'm literally having the big business under pressure. So maybe that will kind of decrease things, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it seems to have kind of put things off a bit because my support has been pretty high recently. And now it doesn't happen as often. It still happens, but it just doesn't happen as often. So maybe I need to kind of work on getting big business under control. Anywho, they want to go to the main branches under the state as opposed to big business under pressure. They want to go to minority language instructions. They want to go to no social benefits at all, reduce taxes, and they want to go from the unitary state that we have to the local right empowerment, which means what other people living on the territory of the republic have the right to create their own teachings, teaching aids, and national autonomies with limited rights, religious and national holidays, cultural events in the central square, and even your own national leader. All this is permissible as long as the budget is not concerned. Look at this absolute complete bullshit. Do you really think I would do that? Really? Let's see. What is national self-determination? Not only national autonomies, but all our regions should become full-fledged equal subjects of the Federation. Social Democrat. Upper class want that. National autonomy republics. The federal structure will provide republic with equality between all peoples and nations living in the country. Provinces and regions have the right to receive a share of the budget and redirect it to the implementation of national projects that do not contradict the national constitution. Oh, okay, so that's actually what we would want as opposed to the full-blown unitary thing that we have right now. Interesting. But yeah, I'm voting against that. There's no way in hell I'm going to give them their bill or whatever. So there's that. I just thought that was kind of funny. But, oh, it was damn near. Wait. Oh, okay. I got a little confused there because I saw the liberals were for, and I was like, wait, what? But they have no seats in government. So, anywho, more skipping. All right, so we have a little incident here that's kind of pissed me off. So, the conservatives once again put forward a bill. Now, of course, the lower class hated this bill, but the conservatives wanted to do it. The upper class supports this bill. Now, of course, I voted against this bill, and somehow it still managed to turn around and get passed because some people in my own party turned around and went forward. The ironic thing about this too is, again, I've unified my party and stuff like that, so you would think with a centralized party that wouldn't happen. But, you know, of course, shenanigans happen. So now we've went from the state free to the mixed paid. We've went from the special services having suppression of dissent to limited rights. We've went from abortion being allowed to material support for families. We went to dominance of state monopolies. We went to parliamentary elected by the people, minority language in the instructions, no social benefits, and the special services have unlimited power, self-sufficient state. What else we turned around and had? A flat tax and everything else in between. So of course I am finna undo every last bit of this because what the fuck. But still, at the same time, it's just kind of annoying that I've unified the party behind me, but then this shit happened. So 16 decided to turn around and go against it. But this is also the reason why I've passed the majority law in my election, so that way I can completely get rid of the damn conservatives, because it's kind of stupid that, you know, that was my fault that they still get 34% of the vote even though they completely lost. So anywho, let me undo all this shit. And of course there are riots, of course. So, and I will wait. Well, I'll send squads, but let me go ahead and pass a law to undo every last bit of this shit, because Jesus Christ. So state free, and I don't give a damn if they are for it or not. Let me see. State free. Make sure they didn't screw up everything else in the process. Okay, those are fine. You know what, fuck it, I'll make it illegal too in the process. Those are European levels. That's fine. Healthcare is still free. Abortion is allowed. Big business is under pressure. Electoral system, youth control. Language question, several official languages. Demographic issue. Great social assistance. What the fuck, socialists? What are you doing? Let's see. Special services, unlimited power. I'll just say control overall communications. Transport, fully state. Let's do self-sufficient state. Okay. Income tax. The fuck? Progressive tax. Ooh, I could do a wealth tax. Let's see. Land tax is average. That's fine. Utilities are completely state. The VAT. Yeah, I'll leave that reduced. State structures, unitary national autonomies, about social benefits. We have social package for workers, and that percentage barrier. So I think that's everything that they fucked up. So, but yeah, that's a little annoying. That's a little annoying, and it's even more so annoying because you can't lobby or anything like that. You can't make sure that your party actually goes, follows the party line and stuff like that. So it's pretty annoying. Okay. Gambling is a state monopoly. Oh yeah, this one, president elected by the people. So put forward. And it passed. Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, okay. I think this is actually Jesus Christ. This is a long thing. Let's see what we have here. After 20 years of exile, the famous Soviet dissident and writer, Nobel Prize winner in the literature, Alvar, returns to the Republic. He became famous during the Khrushchev thaw. The author of the world bestseller Half of the Country Guarded, in which, according to eyewitnesses, describes the life of prisoners and stories of how they were shot. While in exile, he actively criticized Soviet domestic and foreign policies, urging the West to immensely start a war with the Soviet Union. In his mini interview with our newspaper, he answered several pressing questions that have recently become particularly acute in the political environment of the Republic. When asked about the role of Stalin in the history of the USSR, he declared his categorical hostility to the Soviet leader. I remember these harsh Stalinist totalitarian times in the 30s, the time of flywheel of repression. I was particularly impressed by the story of my grandfather about how the KGB officers shot him on Beria's personal order. It was a terrible time. Stalin deserved his place in hell, he replied. He returned to the Republic. Alvar's return to the Republic caused heated debate about his personality in society and the media. Some idolize him, calling him the victim of the regime and a prisoner of freedom. Others hate and stigmatize a national traitor. However, the government is already talking about adding his works to the school curriculum. Well. I mean, we're anti-Russian, so on this particular playthrough, so I guess we could turn around and just ignore it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think we should really give a stance. I mean, if he wants to say certain things, then by all means, sure. Ignore. The leader and the government did not react in any way to the return of the country of the famous dissident writer. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Anywho, we will do some more skipping, and hopefully this situation down here will get under control. So, more skipping. All right, we are in the last month of 2003, and next year should be the last month. So, let's see what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and actually save this, and then we'll see how things go in the end game for us. So, hold on just a second. All right, I am back now. So yeah, just gonna go ahead and simulate to the next month. Hopefully nothing crazy will happen. It's been tough. I've just been getting plagued by separatist sentiments, and I don't even know where it's coming from, but sure, whatever. I've also been dealing with incidents where, again, the conservatives will put a bill forward, and I will have rebellions from my own party. And I guess the way the Constitution works is that as long as there's 50 votes, then of course they can turn around and pass it, which is really stupid because if I have the majority of the votes and I'm the president, and I'm assuming that I have the vice presidency as well, you would think that it would still pass. I mean, it wouldn't be able to pass because I have control of the government, but I don't know. Again, it doesn't really clarify things like that. So yeah. Anywho, let's get through this month and hopefully nothing too bad will happen. I don't think I have any separatist sentiments in parts of the country that's enough to rebel. Maybe this region, but yeah, let's go ahead and continue forward. And as soon as I said something, all right, fuck off, people. Okay. Can we just make it through this month? Let's slow that down just a little bit. Okay. All right. More rebellion. We are into 2004. Can I increase my support any? I don't know when the actual end game kicks in, because we're into 2004 now. And I think the elections are in a couple months, if I'm not mistaken. I would assume it's with the last election, which is in February. So, or has it already happened, right? Oh, let me just make sure that I can do as much and get as much support as possible. Because I went to the majority system, so that way, hopefully, the majority system with the percentage threshold will completely wipe out all the other parties. So, because I don't even think they'll be able to get 8%. I reduced it to 8% instead of the 10%. So they have to get at least 8%, and hopefully this will be enough to get rid of those bastards. Alright, let's see how it goes. There are no problems with the medicine, and the workers are rich. Alright. Wait for the election results. And of course we won. We won all the regions, and nobody else got any support because again they didn't get 8%. So thank God all the parties are gone. Jesus Christ. All right. And of course we have every single government post. It doesn't even matter. So next turn. All right, let's see. Next turn, and of course we have more than enough points, and we're going to get every single post. Of course we have 20,000 money. Good lord. Okay. Prime Minister's spot will of course be completely, we'll just completely fund everything, of course. It's so good having control of the entire government. Such a wonderful thing. No other parties exist. It's just us. My dictatorship has been successful. I'm curious on how the end game is going to be, though, and how I will be judged. Let's see. All right, let's bump everything up to 1,000 to see if we can get all. Yeah, get everybody up to 1,000. And also see if we can actually spend all of our funds, because we have quite a bit left. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, I don't even think 1,000 in each one is going to be enough. So. Okay, so let's go for more then. 2,000. Will that be enough? Shouldn't have to worry about these departments being inefficient for quite some time. Social development. Yes. All right. We have 585 more in these departments. So I guess we will throw those into education. Yeah, let's just throw it in education. All right. So now everything is completely funded. All right. And of course, again, we have complete control of the government, so everybody's happy with everything. And, I wonder if the game is just going to keep going then. Let's see. The president that won. Unexpectedly for everyone, the Congress elected as president a popular politician and outstanding speaker, known primarily for his political charm and flexibility, and as prime minister, a tough and uncompromising employee of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the SSR. I wonder what this will mean for the Republic. That's a good question. I don't know what that would mean. Let's see. Where are you? Flexible. Growing dependence on the RAF and the USA in exchange for growing relations. Okay. We have the premiership too, of course, because we won all the seats. So the game is still going. I wonder if it's just going to keep going then. And we still have separatist sentiment. I could use the militia to defeat them. That's a little excessive. Let's just give administrative resources. But yeah, I don't know when it's going to actually end, but I'll just keep on skipping until we go to an end screen or if we go to another event or something. So see you in a little bit. And now we have a situation with Russia here. In the presidential elections in Russia, the current leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin, one who managed to easily overtake his opponents and gain over 70% of the vote. Attempts by the opposition parties, the Communist Party of the Russian Federation and the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, to nominate young candidates as a counterbalance to Putin were unsuccessful due to the super popularity of the national leader, who managed to put an end to domestic terrorism and begin the recovery of the Russian economy. Okay. Anywho, more skipping. All right, so we've made it to the end, and basically, I think a thing popped up, and it basically said that the SRP turned around and won in such a stunning fashion that it shows that the SRP turned around and basically has a majority both in the government and in life in and of itself. So now we're at the end screen, and we can see how all things work out. So the party in the country, let's see how it works out. The Socialist Republican Party. Role of the SRP in the political life of the Republic. The SRP managed to take all the reins of government into their own hands. In all regions of the Republic and most government ministries, the SRP became the dominant party, the party in power. Over time, the Socialist Party became synonymous with the word power. The Republic can no longer be imagined without the SRP. The opposition attempts to challenge the leadership of the party were in vain. The party in power is too popular among the people, and the SRP itself does not intend to give up power. In the next parliamentary elections, the Socialist Party again showed an impressive result, leaving no chance for opponents. The parliamentary parties, which somehow made it to the Supreme Soviet, had to make a deal with the SRP, abandoning active political action against the government in exchange for subsidies from the state budget. The new political system of the Republic was cemented for many years. Dominant wing. As a result of the party struggle, the leading position in the Socialist Party were taken by supporters of a political alliance with the West. The adherents of the pro-Russian path of development had to leave the SRP and found their own party. As a result, the SRP became one of the most important parties, advocating the need to further deepen cultural and economic ties with the West. Political activity. During the time, the SRP committed 12 anti-constitutional actions. 1 sabotage was carried out against opposition parties. 0 attacks on the headquarters of other parliamentary parties were planned. There were 0 provocations at rallies of other parties. Organized 3 rallies. Okay, and the Republic. Let's see how it goes. Probably terribly. Results of political reforms. Not everyone will remember what the term timocracy means. Yes and no need. After all, it clearly smacks of antiquity, something ancient and obsolete. But many people compare the established regime in the Republic with the forms of oligarchy of the times of ancient Greece, when only a narrow circle of people, the so-called aristocracy, had access to power. But how wrong they are. Any fool knows that this is ancient Novigrad. There is even a new economic thinking. Market reforms were carried out in the Republic, which led to the establishment of a mixed market economy in the country. Most of the large state-owned enterprises were transformed into joint stock companies. However, nevertheless, the state retained some of the shares in its hands. The state also retained many regulatory functions, controls, and obstacles to monopolization, the presence of the central bank, etc. Social elevators. In the Republic, equality exists for everyone, but some of the citizens were more equal. For some, everything is easy because you just need to be born in a rich family and all the doors open in front of you at once, while others have to spend all their strength and health in order to achieve at least a quarter of similar results. That's okay. This is competition. That's not even remotely, considering how I had state control of the government. I mean, state control of the banks and everything else in between. You would think that wouldn't have been the case, but whatever. Regions. General situation in the country. The Republic was able to put an end to crime once and for all. Now our country is in the top countries for safety on the streets, statistics on the commission of premeditated murders and robberies. We can rightfully be proud of this achievement from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. I guess it's because, oh, okay. The standard of living of the citizens remained in the same plus or minus. Over 15 years of economic reforms, the Republic is still on par with other CIS countries in terms of income. However, we can say that in some countries the situation was much worse. Perhaps in a distant future, the Republicans will live satisfyingly and calmingly, and smiles will return to their faces. Let's see. Aval of banking day trending showed low growth in the last quarter, which indicates a degradation in the area of clearing prices in the macroeconomic perspective. The reason for this is the destructive policy of the government of the Republic, which turned a blind eye to corruption in the country. It has never happened before in the world that money is stolen even before they have time to print it. Yeah, corruption was ridiculously high in all the departments once I completely took over, but there was really nothing I could turn around and do about it at that point. Let's see. Economist Gregory, or is this from the General? Reporting. Recently, these dirty separatists, looters, and murderers of civilians have become more active in some places. It even leads to clashes with the army of the Republic. But believe me, I will die myself, but I will not give these bastards a meter of our land. Mark my words, General Korovev. Let's see. The nationalist Yakov Marlov. Republic for Republicans and nothing else. National minorities must submit to the titular nation, our great people, the creator who so generously sheltered these parasites. Good lord. The national question is a problem of the past. For us, it is finally solved. Okay, even though the nationalists don't even exist in the country. Let's see. Opposition is Evgeny Karnashevich. Sure. It has become too easy to live in the Republic. The protests are coming to naught, and apparently the citizens are now satisfied with everything, or they simply treat politics with apathy. But nevertheless, regime change does not threaten the Republic now. Sure it does not. Let's see. Economist Evgeny Shvilk. The Republic is too isolated. Foreign investors cannot enter its market, although they want it very much. One can only say that the government must take into account that the autarky in the 21st century, especially for such a country not very rich in resources, is a deadly business. Okay, situation in the capital, relatively calm region. Based on our data, this is the most corrupt region in the Republic. Let's see, salaries in this region are frankly below the substance level. In this region, the share of foreign capital is minimal or even does not exist. A quiet corner of paradise where all citizens are under the valiant protection of the militia. Okay. Situation in the West, most protest region of the Republic. The level of corruption in this region is simply off the scale. Salaries in the region are frankly below the substance level. Also, this region is the most attractive of all foreign investors. Region with highest crime rate in the Republic, the crime rate that we also don't have. Separatist sentiments are very strong in this region. Relatively calm region in the industrial region. A region with an incredibly high level of corruption. Salaries in this area are frankly below substance level. In this region, the share of foreign capital is minimal or even does not exist. A quiet corner of paradise. Value and protection of the militia. Separatist sentiments are very strong in this region. And in the east, calm also. Based on our data, this is the most corrupt region in the Republic. So all of these regions are this is the most corrupt region, the east. The region concurrently ranks first in the country according to the index of average salaries. In this region, the share of foreign capital is minimal or doesn't exist. A quiet corner of paradise where all citizens are under the protection of the militia. Separatist sentiments are very strong in this region. Contradictory things there. Relatively calm region. This is the most corrupt region now. So yeah. Okay, pretty much saying the same thing left and right. So that's the regions, friends. General vector of foreign policy. The Republic, as one domestic political scientist put it, has chosen the policy of sitting on two chairs. Without giving preference to any of the existing blocs, the government is actively cooperating to approximately the same extent with the European Union and the Commonwealth countries. Thus, the country, which has a transit position in the Eastern Europe, has become a buffer zone between Russia and the NATO alliance. Relation of Republic with the West. At the moment, relations between the Republic and the West are openly hostile. The Senate is even talking about the possibility of the possible introduction of economic sanctions against the country. At the same time, some political analysts say that the Republic is completely free from Western influence. During this time, several significant events took place in relation between the Republic and the West. Among those, the Republic joined the TACIS program, an agreement was signed with CEFTA. The Republic joined the Military Cooperation Program, the Partnership for Peace. The Republic became a co-founder of the Guam Organization. West and Republic, as a result, are looking for points of mutual contact. Relations of Republic with the CIS. At the moment, relations between the Republic and the CIS are openly hostile. The State Duma is even talking about the possible introduction of economic sanctions against the country. At the same time, some political analysts say that the Republic is completely free from Russian influence. During this time, several significant events took place in the relations between the Republic and the CIS. These are the organizations that I turned around and joined and the agreements I signed, and we're looking for points of mutual contact. The fate of the Union State. The idea of gradual unification of two states, Russia and Belarus, has completely failed to justify itself. In the 2000s, there were attempts to create a unified federal state, but it didn't go further than talk. Nominal bodies were created in the form of the General Council of Ministers, a state council, but their function was nominal. Over the time, due to deterioration of relations between the Russian Federation and Belarus, the project was completely forgotten. Oh, so I could have refounded the USSR. Okay, I might do that on another run, huh? But there was also some issues that I turned around and had where I couldn't leave certain organizations. I tried, but the game would just kick me out of the menu and it wouldn't do anything. So I wanted to have more cooperations with the West, but I just couldn't. So I just pretty much said, fuck it. But factions. Okay, Grey Cardinals of the Republic. Fate of the NOTK. The NOTK faction, which initially included promising Republican entrepreneurs, has successfully collapsed by the end of this decade and ceased to exert even the slightest influence on the country's domestic policy. Republican oligarchs act in isolation and do not represent any significant force. Therefore, the authorities of the Republic keep them within the framework of their policy, feeding the loyal bourgeoisie. The fate of the RWC. The image of the RWC, the Republican Warlords Club, until recently was shrouded in secrets and myths. Some organizations that supposedly include the most influential generals? Nonsense. Now it has become clear that the Republican military does not influence the country's policy in any way, and in general is an apolitical force. Yeah, they didn't have any influence. Even though in the end, we gained complete control. Well, we gained complete influence over them, and I guess it's because all the parties didn't exist anymore, so they didn't have a choice. Fate of the Brown Mafia. The horrors of the 90s have come to an end. The so-called New Republicans that appeared in the late 80s can be successfully entered into the Red List since the Brown Mafia de facto no longer exists. Initially, the organization split into several smaller factions warring among themselves, and then the Mafia were finished off by the militia. So yeah, I let the in the spare time that I had, I turned around and started doing terrorist actions, and I started having joint terrorist actions, counterterrorism actions, excuse me, against the Mafia and other organizations. So the RFU and the Brown Mafia shouldn't even exist at all. Fate of the RFU. The Revolutionary Army. We live in interesting times. Those who 15 years ago would have been called crazy or holy fools have become trendsetters. RFU, the Republican Feminist Union, always stands guard over the interests of national and sexual minorities, women, and other people who consider themselves oppressed, while promoting their idea of revolution in the mind. They sometimes arrange strange and eccentric actions that remain incomprehensible to the vast majority of citizens. However, the union still exists for some reason. Fate of the RPC. The Republican Patriotic Church, which again became legal after the collapse of the USSR, failed to take advantage of the favorable situation and became something like a sect. while the role of other religions not related to the history and culture of the Republic increased. Okay. Fate of the Union of Unions. A powerful trade union movement was established in the Republic. The Union of Unions is practically a monopoly among workers' organizations. Some analysts accuse its leaders of venality and unprincipled, calling his activities harmful and contrary to the interests of the labor movement. Fate of the RAF. The rise in popularity of Trotskyist and radical left movements, which began in the early 90s, has come to its logical conclusion. The RAF, the rebel army faction, was once one of the most influential underground organizations that campaigned throughout the country and excited the minds of young people. However, now there's no trace of their former greatness. The once united organization turned into several scattered communities, which soon ceased to exist altogether. So, that is the fate of my Republic. I will play this some more in my own spare time, and if there's some interest or if there's a certain playthrough that people want me to do, let me know in the comment section. I might be willing to turn around and do it. Again, this is a fairly easy game to turn around and play, but I think I'll wait until there's some more updates to revisit this game or whatnot. As far as my overall opinion of the game, I really like it. It's definitely a really good game. I think I mentioned this in the last video as well. I really like the options that you have. I do wish there was more clarity on it, and I do wish there was more structure to how the ministries work, because again, I think it's kind of stupid that you can bid for ministries and then you also have to personally fund them. There should be, you would think that the way it would work is that the majority government or the government that wins the presidency should turn around and actually be in charge of these ministries. That's basically how every single country on the face of this earth works. Now, there are, like in the UK, where you have the shadow chancellor and stuff like that. That might be interesting to have a system like that where, of course, if you win the election, you get control of all of the ministries, but then the opposition gets some type of shadow cabinet situation where they can kind of work with the other parties in order to form opposition to certain, I guess you could say, laws and stuff that you could turn around and pass. Also, it would be kind of nice if you had, basically, like if when it comes to the ministries would change, the ministries' actions would change depending upon who's in power. So like, say for instance, if you have the Ministry of Defense or whatever, and you're a communist, you would have communist Ministry of Defense selections and stuff like that. Whereas if you were a conservative, you would have different actions based off of the fact that you're a conservative and so on and so forth. And maybe based off of the fact that like you have different, you have a different wing that's in control of the party and things like that. That would be interesting. So I would like to see more variety as far as the actual actions, because at the end of the day, a socialist can be a conservative, a socialist can be a liberal, a socialist can be a communist, a socialist can be a Nazi. And while that's not necessarily, an odd thing or a bad thing as far as the game goes, because of the way the policies and the politics work, it just basically kind of makes the actual you playing as different parties, it kind of makes it kind of just flavor text to a certain degree. So I just want to see more variety and more more uniqueness between the different parties and stuff like that. But again, like I said, I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the story. Again, another one of my biggest gripes too is, of course, being like some of the issues with the ministry just going out of control. I don't know what happened there, but as you saw, when I turned around and got control in the next election, the ministries worked just fine. There was no issues. You need more ways to deal with corruption in these ministries, because again, they just get out of hand. It would be nice too if you were in charge of the Ministry of Internal Affairs or the military, that you could just go in and literally deal with corruption. It's kind of crazy that you have control of the military and you have control of internal affairs and you can't do anything about corruption. So that's a bit of a bummer that you can't really deal with corruption, because again, sometimes you get into these situations where you get control of a department, the operability is too low, you can't do anything as far as the operability, so you just stuck with a department that you can't do anything with. It just becomes a money thing that you can turn around and pull money from or whatever. So I would like to see some work on that. But I really do think that after a couple updates, this game will be really, really good, and I will be interested to see what will happen in the future. But right now, it's kind of buggy. It is kind of buggy. it has some issues as far as like being able to interact with certain things, and I don't know why certain things work. Sometimes they work, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, it's pretty buggy right now. But I would still encourage people to play it because it is really fun. It with all its bugs, it's no worse than any other Gremlin game. I guess that's the best compliment I can give for it right now. But you know, it is something that's really fun. I did enjoy this quite a bit, and I will play this some more in my spare time. I'm actually glad that I've recorded this now because I actually do have a little bit of spare time before the next game I'm going to record is going to come out, so I can actually jump into it. But yeah, it's really nice and it's really fun. Also, I would like to see more events go on. I would like to see more interactions with the different countries. It would be nice if, like in Crisis of the Kremlin, you could affect the elections and stuff like that, because that was pretty nice. I liked how in Crisis of the Kremlin, you know, because it's the Cold War and stuff, you could turn around and, you know, you could affect the elections in the United States, or you could affect the elections going on in other countries like China and stuff like that. So that was really cool. So I would like to see something like that too in the future, where you could, you know, affect the United States, and maybe, who knows, you could help Al Gore win the election and see how that would affect the rest of the world and things like that. So, but again, I really like this game. I will be playing more of it, and I'm excited to see what will happen in the future. So I really do hope the game is successful, and I do hope to see more of it in the future. Hopefully there'll be updates and stuff like the rest of Kremlin Games' game. So anywho, I'm going to leave it off right there. This will be the last video for this series, but let me know what you think about the game. Let me know how you feel about everything in the game. So what's your opinions on certain things? So if you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have plenty of stuff on my channel now, and I will have plenty of stuff in the future. The next game that will be coming out, it will probably be coming out this day, because I'm recording this on the 3rd, I believe. And this video is going to come out on the 4th, which is supposed to be the same day that The Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte comes out. So you'll probably get this video in the morning time, and then you'll get Sir Bronte in the evening, because I have to download it and I have to play through it and stuff like that. Shenanigans. So yeah, but yeah, I have plenty of other things coming in the future. I believe there's something else that I'm really forgetting. I feel like there's another big game, at least from me, that's coming out that I'm supposed to be recording. So, but yeah, anywho, there's that. Yeah, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them in the comment section. They do come to my phone, so I do get them. So if you have anything you need to ask me, I'm more than willing to turn around and engage with. And I don't mind having any banner or anything like that, so it's fine. You want to know anything about my politics? There you go. I can do that too. But yeah, I will see you in the next series. So have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed the series. See ya.